from hinting at Ezra Miller being replaced to giving Andy Muschietti another go in the DCEU. Here's James Gunn's reaction to the Flash movie flopping. Well, he didn't say anything publicly, but his Twitter likes tell us a different story. Usually, when a celebrity likes a tweet, it means that they agree with whatever's being said. The thing that got everyone's attention was Gunn liking a fan's tweet about the ending of The Flash, where George Clooney is the Bruce Wayne of the timeline that Ezra Miller's Barry Allen is in. The fan asked if it was safe to assume that the movie didn't end in the new DC universe, but a different one altogether, since the brave and the bold is searching for a new, younger actor to don the cowl of the Dark Knight. This means that another Scarlet Speedster is running around this timeline, and it could possibly be a sneaky way of saying bye-bye to Miller's reign of terror. Fans noticed the like in the co-president's profile and celebrated the actor's inevitable exit as DC's fastest man alive. Another hint at how James felt about the blockbuster's underperformance was liking Kevin Smith's tweet, where he defended it for being a theme park movie. You can thank the one and only Martin Scorsese for this famous term being used to describe these cliché superhero movies that follow the same blueprint with forced humor, bad CGI, and a lot of fan service. The Flash was being described as just that. A fan responded to Smith's defense of himself for enjoying the movie, despite its controversial AI-rendered cameos, which he found to be a really nice and enjoyable homage to the past that didn't really feel like an insult. I'll get to that controversy later in the video. But right now, let's focus on why Gunn liked Kevin's particular tweet, in which he accepted the fact that cinema might as well be turning into popcorn flicks. These were the kinds of movies that the director used to watch with his late father. If $10 for a ticket is what it takes to keep this core memory of him going, then it's absolutely worth it. Perhaps the emotional moments in the movie were what really made James love The Flash. Kevin's tweet made it more important because Gunn's father is also an important part of his new universe. After all, the release date of Gunn's Superman film is his late father's birthday, so it's a sweet way to keep his memory alive. As of now, the Guardians of the Galaxy director hasn't made a statement yet, but that doesn't mean he's not observing everyone's reactions to the flop that was supposed to change the franchise. It also doesn't change the fact that back in early 2023, James said that The Flash is amazing and gave props to director Andy Muschietti for doing an amazing job. People think this was an obvious marketing stunt, which was weird since he didn't promote Shazam! Fury of the Gods in any way whatsoever. But that didn't really matter in the end, because both Shazam 2 and The Flash are box office flops. The filmmaker is definitely struggling to find some level ground here, because the last 3 films were complete and utter failures. The worst part is that even fans are starting to lose interest. After the mess that was The Flash, people won't believe Gunn if he says that an upcoming project is good anymore. This puts Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 under a lot of pressure. Since the recent release also lost more money than planned, it could possibly mess with the budgets of future films that are more important to kickstart his first chapter of the universe. Fans find the whole situation funny, saying that the budget for Superman Legacy is going to be extremely low. Other actors like Tom Cruise also gave an early review of the movie, calling it a confidence boost, and praising the director by calling him for 15 whole minutes. All of this sounded a little exaggerated. I bet they're all regretting their choice to promote the film since fans absolutely hated it. Story-wise, it was nothing special, and got a lot of things wrong as far as comic accuracy is concerned. Viewers complained that the characters were lazily written. Michael Shannon, who plays General Zod, said that he wasn't really satisfied with reprising the role in this movie. He also mentioned that he enjoyed his time on set when shooting Man of Steel more than he did with The Flash, and that's what fans have been trying to say for so long. Everyone's already seen Zod and the World Engine in action back in 2013, with much better CGI, might I add, and it made no sense to keep this the center of focus when promoting the movie online. And don't get me started with the fact that the producers and writers needed Michael Keaton as Batman and Sasha Calle as Supergirl to make a movie about the world's fastest man alive. Everyone pointed out that they could have introduced the Speedster's Rogue Gallery or Reverse Flash to spice things up, but the film itself was hit or miss. No wonder it made only $66.5 million in the US after 5 days, which is well below its budget worldwide. So, What was the one thing that ticked every fan off? None other than the bizarre CGI cameos. For some reason, all of the Supermen would fly toward the screen and the camera would rotate around them so that they could see the portal of the Speed Force. The choice in camera work wasn't the only strange thing in the movie. It was actually the fact that all the heroes weren't real. Yes, even the Nicolas Cage one. The cameos were all nostalgic fan service for some god-awful reason. This includes Adam West's Batman, Christopher Reeve's Superman, Helen Slater's Supergirl, and of course, George Clooney's Batman. I don't know why Muschietti was focusing on these characters. Maybe he wanted to recreate something like Spider-Man No Way Home. Whatever the reason, he failed miserably. Fans, on the other hand, didn't take these cameos so lightly either. They found it very disrespectful to the actors who have passed away, especially the black and white Superman, George Reeves. Once you read about his death and the life he was living because of this role, you'd wish you never spent money on this movie in the first place. This is also pretty problematic on Gunn's part for calling The Flash the best superhero movie he's ever seen. To top this cameo fest off with the worst possible thing, Henry Cavill was nowhere to be found. The fan-favorite Man of Steel, who had theaters burst with excitement at the end of Black Adam, wasn't in the final cut of the film, even though he was supposed to show up at the end. This was before the studio merger that led to layoffs, crowning James Gunn and Peter Safran as the new co-presidents of the DCEU. Things were going to go well in terms of canon universes and characters, but the Guardians of the Galaxy director had other things in mind. This involved removing 90% of the cast, along with Cavill's Superman. Fans weren't so happy with this news either, since both Henry and Brandon Routh were alive and available for their cameos. So why would they want to bring back the dead for a little cameo that did nothing to the plot? And why Nicolas Cage? I know I've said this a bunch of times in this video, but do you want to know what the worst part is? A TV budget show like Titans managed to do the multiversal cameo thing much better than a blockbuster with a $200 million budget. No one looked AI generated either. After all this chaos, what does the future of The Flash look like? Well, just like the franchise, it's all uncertain. Fans have picked Grant Gustin as the future Barry Allen of the DC Universe, but that seems too good to be true. James once said that Miller isn't going anywhere and would fit in with the rest of the universe because of how the character's tone suits the rest. But after liking that certain tweet about Barry being in the wrong timeline, people are starting to think otherwise. The main reason the movie was a flop was because of the horrible CGI. The director defended by saying it was a creative decision, and the blurry and fake-looking characters are all from Barry's point of view, who's always running and is too fast to focus on anything. Nice try, Muschietti, but this is just bad damage control. It looks like the co-president's final verdict of the film is a positive one, because he's promoting Andy to sit in the director's chair of Brave and the Bold. So, there you have it. From giving Andy Muschietti another go in the DCEU to hinting at Ezra Miller getting replaced, that was all about James Gunn reacting to the Flash movie.